Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. What's up, fellas?
It is a glorious night for a THF extra point, let me tell you.
I'm not as happy as you are, but I will try to match your enthusiasm just because I love being here with you guys, recapping the week.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Junior, I love being with you.
Thank you, man. I love you too.
There's a lot of love.
The Cowboys broke my heart, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, we're gonna get into that.
Oh, we are gonna get into that. Yes, sir.
This is the week 5 recap. We're gonna get into all of it. I'm sure you guys are chomping at the bit to get after the Cowboy fans in the group. That's usually how it goes. We're used to it. We got at least myself and the Cowboy fans that I know a very thick skin because this is just how it is. I imagine.
You know what? Time out. I'm glad you say it's just the way it is, Mr. Wakko, because it is part of the cycle. If we go refer back to that cycle of the Dallas Cowboys, here we are.
No. We are not. We are not anywhere on that cycle. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about the meme. Cowboys fans preseason. This is our year.
This is hype. This is our year. You beat up on teams that are trash, and then the teams that are good, you don't show up.
Yeah. I mean, it's one loss.
It is. You guys will play again. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, there's a good chance of that.
In my opinion, I feel like we should just go ahead and start Trey Lance because we already see what Dak can do. We already seen how we played against the 49ers. I say we just go ahead and start him and just let him play the whole season. Just like, what else do we have to lose? We're not going to win the playoffs if we play like that against the 49ers, you know what I'm saying?
It's true. There's definitely some concern not only on offense, which we already knew. We've already known that the Cowboys can't score, are struggling big time in the red zone. Although they had going into week 4, I think it was, they were leading the league by a lot of red zone plays. So they weren't having trouble moving the ball. They were having trouble converting once they got there.
Yeah. I do disagree with Januvio on the fact that we should start Trey Lance because it is only one loss, like you said, Wakko, and
it's too early.
It's still early, now.
And Trey Lance is still third on the depth chart.
I think
right now, so
it's going to be best for the Cowboys and Trey Lance that he sits as long as he can.
I'll tell you, if I was Dak, I wouldn't worry about Trey Lance taking my job unless the Rangers. Sorry, I got the ALDS on as well. Unless the Cowboys cut rush and move Trey Lance to number 2.
The way that I see it is
Dak has to start sweating.
Dak is good, but he's not phenomenal, and I think that's a problem in terms of like the rest of our team needs momentum. Like our defense was playing great, and our offense I feel like is great, and I feel like Dak just kind of holds it back a little bit because when we go against mediocre teams, usually we win, and we'll probably have like a 12-win season just like last year. But if we want that like high ceiling, I mean, if I was the head coach, I would be talking about getting Trey Lance some games in because what do we have to lose? Like with our Dallas team, just like last year, we go to the playoffs. We win against a bad team and then we lose to either 49ers or the Eagles or some shit. And with Trey Lance there, if we start him right now, I think there's just a high upside to that. It's a risk, but like, what are we going to do anyways? We're probably just going to lose again with Dak playing, you know what I'm saying?
Dak is he's like the Black Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've heard that before.
Ooh, that's brutal.
I have heard that before.
Not a bad quarterback, but just can't pull it off in the big games. Man.
That's it. Not phenomenal, just good.
Yeah. Lobster says she used to think we would win Doesn't trust him.
Some of the throws for like a quarterback of his stature and with our team, he shouldn't be making. And we didn't just lose to the 49ers. We got pounded by the 49ers. And
destroyed.
Being gone makes a bigger impact than we think on our defense, especially with, Ayuk was just getting pass after pass. I remember one time they had a flag called, and then he just went and did it again. It was like nothing. And Kittle, especially Ayuk was just going off all day long. Like our defense, I get our defense was kind of tired because we kept putting them out there, but Jesus, it was embarrassing.
I will say that I think Ayuk didn't do as much as it may have seemed like he did, because I had him on my fantasy team, and he's one of the reasons I lost this week. But Kittle is one of the reasons I almost won, because 3 touchdowns out of Kittle was
let's talk about that T-shirt.
insane.
What do y'all think about that?
Yeah,
that's disrespectful. I don't care if it's a rivalry or not. That's just like I used to like Kittle. Like I had him on my fantasy team last year. I don't know how I'd feel if I was you, Jason, having him on my team right now.
I'm definitely not cutting a guy that just scored 3 touchdowns just because he wore a shirt that I didn't like. But that rivalry goes deep, real deep, and I don't have a problem with it, honestly. As a Cowboy fan, I'd like to punch him in the face right now. But as just as far as rivalries go, I understand it. I totally understand it. I'd be wearing a shirt that said "fuck 49ers" if I thought of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, I don't know. I got no problems with it. Now, I bet you he wouldn't have been showing that shirt off if the score had been reversed, though.
If Tyreek Hill gets fined for not wearing socks, he
blasphemous.
should get fined like $1 billion, dude. Because he got fined for just not wearing socks. And he has that type of T-shirt on. Definitely needs to get fined.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anything will happen from that, to be quite honest. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it didn't come out during the game. It wasn't broadcast on TV. It was just shown after the game, right?
I think it wasn't shown on TV.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't show that on TV. Did anyone confirm that was real?
Yes,
I saw a video.
It was part.
Okay.
It's part of the beef that's going on right now.
Yeah, I saw the
between
clip
the players.
from a fan
Micah
in the end zone
Parsons.
who was on.
Micah Parsons, I think, said something about it too, saying like, "Oh,
Yeah, on his
like you're gonna
podcast.
act that way." Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
We'll
that
see
was
again. That's
Micah
basically what he
Parsons
said.
was
We'll
on
see
his
again.
podcast Monday talking about it, and if I'd have thought about it, I would have pulled up the quotes and stuff. But I didn't anticipate us really spending that much time talking about it. But the basically he just said, we'll see you again, and we want to make it personal. That's fine. We'll get personal. He took it personally too, and I don't blame him. That's your team. That's your team. You should feel that way. I feel that way as a Cowboy fan. I feel that way, but I don't have a problem with it as far as the act of doing it. Like, I really don't. I think that just shows how deep that rivalry goes. And honestly, if it were the other way around, I would be saying fuck yeah, hell yeah. It just happens to be that it was the other way around.
Type of player to end up as a Cowboys tight end at the end of his career.
It'll lead to some fights next year's joint practices and preseason. Yeah,
Hopefully,
bro. It'll lead to some stuff if they see each other again, which they very well. San Francisco ended our season 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row now.
It'll be like that in the playoffs, I think. If we see them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We see them again. Oh man, it's going down again.
Let's talk about the Pats, bro.
All right, so there's a lot to talk about with the Pats. I just want to go back really quick, 1 second. I just want to let the record show that I'm the only one of the three of us that had the 49ers winning by a margin of a touchdown or more. So put that. I'm just joking, but yeah. So where do we want to begin with the Patriots?
You are right.
Honestly, I
we wanna
didn't get to
start with
see actually
Vikings?
much of that game, so I'd like you to recap me a little bit. I only saw the score and some of the highlights.
Well, it was
What will
only half
happen
the
There wasn't
game.
first?
much. There wasn't
What will
Only
much.
happen
half the game.
first? Will Mac Jones get benched or will Bill Belichick get fired?
I don't think either of those things is gonna happen. Honestly,
No?
I really don't.
Yeah.
Either neither thing will happen, or quite possibly both.
I think Belichick's too stubborn
Mhm.
to go ahead and bench Mac Jones and be wrong about him. And I don't think
So
they could fire him.
Bill has never benched a healthy quarterback as a Patriot. He benched prior to the Patriots. He benched somebody, but
Maybe Jimmy.
no,
when he
like a
got
starting
injured.
like a
Mm.
career starting quarterback. He's never benched a healthy one, like permanently. Obviously, he took Mac out of the last 2 games, but that's not permanent. Like Mac Jones is going to be starting the game Sunday against the Raiders, regardless of whether we think he should or not. The thing is, it's a tough situation. I really don't foresee Mac sitting this season, and they're not going to fire Bill in the middle of the season. There's a lot of scuttlebutt and rumors going around. It's not a Boston sports radio is very lively right now.
Oh man, I bet
You mean
it's
Boston
vicious.
sports? No way.
I bet you it's vicious right now.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm just really surprised because on the first game of the season, I thought the Patriots were going to be not that bad, to be honest with you. Like the way they looked against the Eagles, even though they ended up losing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a way different team than right now.
Something's still off. Like it's not clicking. And all three parts of the team are in different places right now, which isn't good for complementary football.
Yeah, no.
Look at
Plus,
the Cowboys, for example. The Cowboys are in a very similar situation. Their special teams are pretty good. Their defense is still one of the tops in the league, but the offense keeps making mistakes, right? With the I said this last week with the 2 injuries of Matthew Judon and Christian Gonzalez, the defense takes a major hit. And we re-signed JC Jackson, which is something. Questionable decision, but given the dire situation with the injuries, probably not a bad move. With that being said, the defense didn't show up, and the offense didn't give them much of a reason to. 2 interceptions, including a pick 6 and a fumble recovery from and a lost fumble from Mac Jones in general, just by himself. It doesn't really help the situation at all. But keep in mind, last season the Patriots defense had 6 defensive touchdowns that led the league. The team doesn't even have the whole team doesn't even have 6 touchdowns this year. The whole Patriots offense has 5 touchdowns. 2 of them to Hunter Henry, and then the other 3 are split up to one evenly.
Do you think that Belichick really is untouchable? Like, do you think like he's solidified, or do you think that at any point, if it keeps going the direction it's going, that he has to fear for his job?
Personally, I think that they would give him the opportunity to retire at the end of the season before they were to let him go. But that's just me.
Out of respect.
So
Yeah.
everyone's focusing on Bill, right? And a lot of the haters up here are saying, oh, fire Bill. He's washed. The game's passed him by. Okay, who do you replace him with? Because if Bill steps down, who steps up? Are we putting
Matt
Steve Belichick in?
Patricia.
No, he won't be back. We putting Steve Belichick in, and everyone's like, "Oh, we don't want Steve Belichick." It's like, okay, well, let's
that
take a
doesn't make a
second
whole lot
and
of sense.
let's
They'd have
take a
to get
second
rid
and
of them
relax
both.
and figure it out. What I, as a fan, would like to see, I would like Bill to be relieved of his general manager duties. I think he's failing as a general manager. He hasn't done a thing in 5 seasons. And you can argue that he wasn't doing much before that either. It was the Tom Brady factor of taking a mediocre mid player and elevating them just because that's what he does. That's what he did. Bill hasn't seemed to have that success without Brady, where he signs people or he drafts people thinking they're going to be good, and they're just not, because you can blame Mac for that. You can blame coaching, whatever it is. But if Tom Brady were here with Juju Smith-Schuster, Kendrick Bourne, Ramondre Stevenson, Ezekiel Elliott, Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, plus all the young talent they have, he'd be slinging it, and they would be a top defense in the league because a top offense in the league because this offense as it is, these players are more talented than what Brady had his last season here.
Yeah.
The one thing though, for Belichick has had success without Brady though when he's been suspended or when he's been hurt before.
Over a course of a few games, but not on
Yeah.
the season factor, and there hasn't. And again, the team's getting worse and worse every season. Since Brady left the team, where the same can't be said for Tom Brady. He got better. Obviously, he's now retired, and the last season wasn't great.
Yeah, I just
so
think
he left here and won a Super Bowl.
I think I just point that out to say that I think there's more wrong with the offense than just Tom Brady missing. I don't know that Tom Brady would be. I mean, don't get me wrong, he'd be way better.
No, I can confidently say
this year.
I can confidently say the offense would still be dominant with Brady.
I just don't know if it would be humming. I don't know.
I mean, you can't. We can do whataboutisms all day, but the fact of the matter is, since Tom Brady has left the New England Patriots, they have not won a playoff game in 5 seasons. The New England Patriots have not won a playoff game in 5 seasons. It's nobody would have. Everybody thought that the Patriots were going to take a step back, and everybody knew the possibility of this happening. You know, the dynasty coming to an end. I don't think anybody saw it happening this season, this soon, I should say. Especially Mac Jones's rookie year, where yes, he lost the playoff game, but he was still dominant and he still went to the Pro Bowl. No, everyone thought, oh, he's a franchise quarterback. He's the second coming. You know, it's unfair to compare him to Brady, but nobody really saw this happening so quickly. A truly rock bottom, unprecedented performance by the Patriots. The state of the team is just something else.
You got a lot of injuries over there too, though.
Yeah, but they weren't doing much before, the injuries. You know.
No, I'm talking about like key players on parts of the offense.
The defense, especially.
Yeah.
But the offense, there are a couple. I know we're not doing an injury report today, but
well,
Juju
we're gonna have to talk about one.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
Juju has a concussion. He's in concussion protocol, but he wasn't performing at all. Hunter Henry is still the top receiver on the Patriots, and he's barely done anything. You know, it's tough. So when speaking to the media, they're always saying, "Oh, we got to do better. We got to make changes. We got to do this, that, and the other thing." They completely switched everything up this week in terms of practices and team meetings and things like that. So could we see an improvement on Sunday against the Raiders? Possibly. The Raiders are by no means a great team. They got really lucky against Green Bay last night.
Yeah.
Did they get lucky or did they out? I mean, I think I felt like the Raiders played.
If Jordan Love wasn't turning the ball over so much, I don't think they win that game.
I
agree with that.
I think they were making Jordan Love make mistakes, though. I think the Raiders played their asses off last.
Yeah, a little both.
I mean, they ran 6 run plays in a row and made gains. He dropped in the covers once for play action, got sacked. The next play he throws a pick 6. He's still got a ways to go, but I really think the Raiders are. I don't think they're going very far very fast.
Oh no!
With that being said, this game on Sunday is by no means a layup for the Patriots. By no means, they could very well lose this game.
Yeah, this one's going to be a tough one for me to pick.
To be honest with you, I keep picking the Patriots and pick'ems because I'm like they're going to break through. They're going to something's got to give here because
I've noticed that. By the way,
everybody has, everybody has the Patriots. Between 6 and 9. If they're lucky, wins. I don't see them winning 9 games. They're going to be lucky to win 6 games, honestly. But the number is right in there somewhere. And anyone you talk to, they had them beating the Saints at home, and they lost handedly to the Saints at home. losing to the Eagles, everyone expected that. A lot of people had them beating Miami at home. I mean, but that offense is rolling, and everyone knew that they were going to be tough.
That offense is humming.
The Jets are still the Jets. They have a really hard time beating Belichick. His favorite thing to do is to beat the Jets. But everyone had them losing to the Cowboys, but I really don't think anybody had them losing to the Saints. And not many people had them losing to Las Vegas, but there's a very strong chance they lose to Las Vegas. If Mac Jones turns the ball over 3 times like he has in the last in the last 2, 3, 4 games, he's got more interceptions than touchdowns. It's not even a good margin. He had a passer rating of 30 in this last game. It's atrocious and horrendous.
Small sample size, I know, but
almost like my pick'ems. It's not going well.
Almost everybody in pick'ems this week had New Orleans.
Damn, look at Lobster in there. She won handedly.
Yeah,
bro, she dominated this week. Only missed 3. And this was a hard week to pick. There's a lot of games that I didn't know which way what games were gonna go which way. Obviously, Miami Giants. That was an easy one to pick,
was a lock.
right? Yeah,
Detroit, Carolina is a lock.
Yeah, there were a couple of them that were easy, but the rest of them were really. Look how many people picked against the Philly this week. I think everybody's waiting for that bubble to pop, and they thought this. I think that's why I picked them. That's why I picked against.
I think that's why a lot of people did, because the Rams they keep showing signs of life. And we've been talking about Philadelphia, how their schedule is easy, and they keep winning these games by very short margins, and it's like, okay, yes, you're right, but they're still winning the games. And from a betting standpoint, you don't really want to bet out of a run. You always bet into the run. And so far they're running. It's kind of hard to bet against them.
Yeah, I just didn't think that they were going to pull that one off. What other? Kansas City. That was no surprise.
Yeah, that was a gimme.
Everybody was on that. Everybody was on the KC bandwagon this week.
I threw Denver in as my like upset pick. I figured that was going to be the upset of the week. Nope.
That was a really tough one to pick. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you who was favored in that game.
The lines were pretty close throughout, but I think the Jets were favored for the most part. But again, it was one of those games. It's like could go either way. And
wasn't it? Yeah, wasn't it like Denver -1 or something like that?
It was pretty close.
One of those.
It was a tight game. I think a really surprising one are the two, the Arizona Cincinnati game and the Baltimore Pittsburgh game.
I wasn't surprised that Cincy won. No, that I don't know. I know they've been struggling, but we all know that Cincinnati's the better team. So,
well, they made a huge difference this week. I mean, huge.
Let's see if it keeps up, because I picked up Joe Burrow off of waivers this week in our league.
Nice.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good pick.
I
take him over Danny Dimes.
Cincinnati is the better team. We've been talking all season, like, what's wrong with them? That's why I was like, well, it's Arizona. This is a chance to kind of put the cart back on the tracks. Is why I picked them. I mean, it seemed like we've been talking about it all year. Is any minute now they're going to start playing. Well, week 5 they started playing, and I don't, we were all talking about it was going to happen. So now, will it last? I don't know. We'll look at next week's pick'ems in just a second. We'll see what who they play, but I don't. I think the really shocking one up there to me is Baltimore losing to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, after they faced Cleveland, and everyone thought that was going to be a tight game because of how locked down the Cleveland defense has been, and it was a blowout. Again,
Yeah.
look at us. We all had Baltimore as a lock for the week.
I mean, one person had Pittsburgh. Psycho Nana. That's
It's
hell of
go ahead.
hell of a pick.
I follow the AFC North a lot because I live, in that area. And Baltimore and Pittsburgh they're within 2 points since they've started playing each other in terms of who's won what. 2 points.
Oh, really?
So they are as dead even as you could get in terms of who wins and who loses. So it could have been a toss-up either way.
Is that like 2 points total points that score?
Yeah,
all of their
they
games?
played like
their point differential.
Yeah.
Okay, right on. Yeah.
Which is strange because Pittsburgh seemed to be kind of like a dumpster fire.
Somehow Mike Tomlin always gets them to a winning record. I don't know how he does it, but he's never had a losing record. So.
Well, and there were, the Roethlisberger era is
right. He had Bill Cowher's roster for a few years before before it switched to his team, really. But
he is a underrated coach.
That's an interesting comment that Homely said. He said Daniel Jones getting traded to the Pats.
Nope,
what do y'all
not a
think?
chance. Nope.
If
the
Daniel
Giants
Jones
just paid Daniel Jones, no way they're
and
trading.
he's
him.
Listen,
too mobile. Bill doesn't like mobile quarterbacks.
Do you think if Daniel Jones was on the Patriots, would he get the offense humming?
No.
No.
You don't think so?
Nope. Nope. I would rather have Mac. I would rather have Mac than Danny. I know it's a hot take, but no.
Interesting.
And Danny Dimes wouldn't fit in the Patriots offense. Bill does not. He doesn't really foster mobile quarterbacks. Even when Cam Newton got signed, Cam Newton was past his prime. Not really. He wasn't as mobile as he used to be.
That still was a shocker.
And one of the heavy rumors throughout the offseason was that Lamar Jackson was gonna make a run at Lamar because they've always had they've always been friendly and he's always been interested in Lamar. But it just doesn't fit in the offense. Bill he's a pocket passer, throw the ball offense, not a mobile quarterback running offense.
But for the most part, Mac Jones and Daniel, they're kind of one and the same, right? They're young quarterbacks that haven't been around very long, and they've shown flashes, but they've not really done much of anything.
No, Danny's way more mobile than Mac.
Sure.
Mac's not much of anything.
They don't have the same
let's
style.
Be honest. Mac's not much of anything. What in his first 2 seasons, it was really the brain, the game management. That was what was so appealing, allegedly, to Bill. And pretty much everybody, that's all. He doesn't have an overly strong arm. He's not very mobile. He can scramble, but he's not throwing on the run. Really, it was the football the football brain that he seems to have lost this season because he's making terrible decisions and awful throws. But I don't foresee. I don't think Danny's coming to New England. If anything, I think Bill would make a run at someone like Cooper Rush if he really wanted to trade for somebody, which I don't think. I don't foresee happening. The trade deadline is coming up. It's a very slim chance that he trades for a quarterback halfway through the season.
I mean, yeah, he's already adjusted to the system and he's already in with all the players. I feel like it'd be smart to keep him. But it is interesting to think if Mac Jones is really bad or if everyone's just not clicking, because I've seen him play and he doesn't look like a bad quarterback, but we've also seen Danny play and he looks like a bad quarterback, but he's not really, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to tell.
For me,
hey, Ray, back to your comment earlier about how Belichick has never benched a quarterback, a healthy quarterback. Well, I guess healthy is the caveat there, but I was going to say Drew Bledsoe fans might disagree because he lost his job to Tom Brady when he got hurt.
Yeah, but he lost it to injury and then never came back.
Yeah. Well,
that's not the
kind
same
of a
as
benching because they left him on the bench.
Sort of, but
when he was healthy, he didn't get his job back.
Yeah, but the what I'm talking about is Bill he's never been in a season where a healthy quarterback performs so poorly that he gets benched permanently.
Yeah. That's
He
what I
may
said.
get benched
The health is
temporarily.
the caveat there. I was like,
I mean, Bill
forgot
Belichick's
you
also
said that.
like ancient. He's like 90, bro. Oh my god.
He's getting up there, and that fuels even more rumors. It's like, when does he call it quits? When does he turn it over? And has
I
the
don't
game gotten past him, etc. But he's still chasing that Shula record. He's 20 wins away. At the current pace, it's going to take him another 10 seasons. But like, it is important to him whether he admits to it or not.
And that would
Will
be
the
so
Patriots
weird.
be the first team to go 16-0 and 0-16?
Like my whole lifetime, Bill Belichick has been the head coach. It would be weird seeing him retired, or especially on a different team. I don't think he could ever go to a different team. I don't know.
And I don't know if any other team would take him nowadays.
He's so ancient now, but he
It's-
is like. Go ahead.
It's not even that he's ancient, because there are old coaches.
Yeah.
Yes, he's old. There's no denying that. But I think the question is more along the lines of, has the game gotten past him? Because he doesn't really change up much year to year.
Uh-oh,
Yeah.
you're getting fact checked. He benched Kosar for Testaverde.
Was that on the Patriots though?
No, it's Cleveland.
Yeah. My point at the start when I originally made it was, on the Patriots he hasn't done it. Granted,
Yes.
he did have Tom Brady for 20 seasons, but in the terms of his success as a coach, he hasn't. There's a first time for everything is the point everyone else is trying to make, but it's not in his nature.
Yeah.
I don't. And to be fair,
forgot
Bailey
he-
Zappi's not much better. Bailey Zappi had a pretty good season last season, because the general consensus was that the Matt Patricia offense was so dumb, stupid, simple, and he was a yes man. He would say, yes, coach, blah, blah, blah. And Mac Jones, being borderline OCD, he didn't fit into that offense very well. When they made the switch and brought O'Brien back during the offseason, Mac did way better in the preseason than Zappi did.
Hang on, guys. We got our Bills fan in the house. Is it time to talk about the Jacksonville Buffalo game? Or did we already skip that?
Man, Buffalo they piss everybody off, man. Like, what? They're so hot and cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Especially compared to literally just last week.
Oh my gosh.
The Buffalo Bills are they are their
Dallas
own Cowboys of the AFC. They're ultra talented, They have a generational quarterback. They're supposed to be this, and they just haven't done anything with it. Hopefully they'll get there, but I mean, fuck the Bills. I couldn't care less. Go jump through a table.
Like you were saying, London, Jacksonville is just a match made in heaven. It's kind of hard to beat them.
Yep.
Is there something to that? I mean, why did they play some of their best football across the pond?
So, like, they were saying at the game for this past Sunday, they didn't leave London, so they had the whole week to acclimate to the time difference. So that helped them.
Oh yeah, because they played in London last week.
Yeah.
I feel like they're always playing in London. Like they should just
well,
make that their main stadium, dude.
Over there, so what's his name? Shad Khan or whatever. He owns Ventra. A lot of he makes the plastics for all the automobiles, so he has a lot of ties to Europe.
So that man, I forgot that they played the week before in London. That's a big advantage. They almost shouldn't be allowed to do that. But how are you going to tell them, no, sorry, you got to spend thousands of dollars to come back and then go back again? But man, yeah, that's it almost seems exactly like Seven said. It's almost like it's a Jags home game. With how often that they are there and how they've been successful there, and it's weird. It is weird.
If and when they move a team to London, I think it would be Jacksonville.
Yeah,
London,
if they ever do.
If they don't make an entire new team, but then they'd have to make a couple new teams to get a whole new to make everything even.
Yeah,
Jacksonville needed this win more than Buffalo.
they've talked about expansion and going over to Europe. Maybe doing a London team and a like a Munich Germany team, because Germany loves football. They love American football. But it's just the logistics of it. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a whole big ordeal to get a team, a couple teams over to Europe, a few times a season. Never mind every week.
You got teams like Dallas. I don't think Dallas has ever played there, if I remember right.
I don't know.
Tennessee plays there this weekend. It's Baltimore.
The Patriots are
gonna
over
be
there at some point
interesting.
too. I think the Patriots are in Germany this year.
Yeah. This is the last London game, I believe.
I think Jones has it figured out to where doesn't like, because I know to do it you have to give up a home game too. So I don't know. Yeah. Baldwin said they'd probably have more fans in the UK.
That's an interesting point. Transferring to Canada, because there's no, with all the talks about expansions, I don't think anybody really mentions Canada very much.
Or Mexico City.
Well, there's
there,
already the CFL in Canada.
Yeah, wasn't there talks of the XFL collabing with the CFL or something like that?
Yeah.
No,
Merging?
it's the USFL that they're merging.
USFL, yeah.
Yeah, there's a merger going. It's going through like the processes now of merging. Like it's already agreed to. So
It would be interesting, that's for sure. Baseball's done it. Hockey does it, obviously. You never know. Fun fact about Canadian baseball: Tom Brady is the last Montreal Expo. He was drafted by the Expos.
Oh,
Basketball
really?
does it too.
Yep.
Yeah, basketball. That's true.
Raptors.
Yeah. Bolt can attest to this. There are a lot of snowbirds in Florida.
Oh,
So
yeah.
During COVID times, after the bubble, the Toronto Raptors spent a bunch of time down in Florida, and there was a lot of discussion of saying, "Oh, why don't they just stay down here?" Because they seem to do pretty. I mean, they didn't win anything, but they did pretty well, and they liked it pretty well. It's so funny that the Canadian team goes to Florida and spends a season there.
Yeah.
The real snowbird team.
The CFL is to American football what MLS is to soccer. Oh man. Oh yeah. Canadian football is not too popular. I think Homely Boy would attest to that as well.
I've never watched a Canadian football game before.
I was gonna say
I don't think it's televised here.
I was also gonna say, without looking at the chat and getting answers from Homely, can anybody name a single CFL team? Because
No.
I can't.
Nope.
No hate by any means, but I also couldn't name an XFL team.
I mean, I could name obviously Arlington Renegades because
Yeah, they won the championship, the first championship.
Besides that, no.
There was who was the quarterback that went and played for the CFL for a little while
Kurt
and
Warner.
came back? Kurt Warner?
Yeah.
Yeah. He left the NFL, went up north and played for the CFL for I think like 2 years and then came back
down and won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, crazy. The Silly Nannies, is that a team, Homely Boy?
Yes. It should be. That should be the London team, the London Silly Nannies.
Bro, it would be great if they did. If Jacksonville really did move to the UK, the London Silly Nannies would be great. Real quick, then we'll move on to fantasy football. We'll move off of real football for a minute, but Dabs, did you want to talk about your Titans?
Yeah, let's talk about the Titans. So, they lost to Indy. Okay, here's the thing. Remember when I said they win games they shouldn't win and lose games they should win?
Yes.
past 2 weeks are a perfect example. They crushed the Bengals where they should have easily lost that game. This week they play the Colts where they should have, won, but maybe not easily, and they lost. So they don't utilize Henry anymore, who I wouldn't be surprised gets traded.
That's an interesting take, actually.
That he'll get traded.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're not going to use him,
there's a good chance. They really like Tajay Spears. He's used in the run and pass game.
That would make sense if they're working on a trade. They don't want him to get hurt.
Henry's
that's why they're not using him.
He's 29, so that's up there for running backs.
Yeah, that's like 80 for a running back.
And he's in a contract year. So he either
yeah.
Bet you anything they're trying to trade him.
So what are some teams do you think that would be interested? That's a good
Miami. Achane is hurt. So
but they're about to get Jeff Wilson back off IR.
They will get Jeff Wilson back.
And Achane is a rookie who's really good.
Buffalo, maybe, they do like Josh Cook, but I don't know if they could pass up Derrick Henry.
I mean, the Broncos' run game has been kind of weird.
Yeah. Broncos in general are a weird fucking team.
Yeah, that's true.
Detroit, no, I don't think Detroit. They really like their David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Dude, Montgomery's been going crazy.
Dude,
Montgomery's solid there.
I have him in this league. I accidentally left him on my bench last week with 40 points. He put up double digits again for me. I'm loving that.
Chicago would be a team. Khalil Herbert just got hurt. Carolina doesn't have a running back besides Miles
But Chicago doesn't have any reason to go after and to give up anything for anybody. They're not going to be competitive this year.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know who else, but I do think that that's a very likely option. Tennessee's, once again, pass defense is awful. They lost to Gardner Minshew in the second half. They're just on the verge of a complete rebuild. They're going to have to go.
If you're a Derrick Henry holder, then you're probably benching him at this point.
He is a verge RB2 at this point. Like, it's matchup based at best. He's not a top.
He's got to break off a long one.
Yeah, he's not a top running back anymore. And you've seen it happen. It happens with all of them.
Yeah.
Larry Johnson, Arian Foster,
Zeke,
all those older guys. They just
happened with Zeke.
Yeah, Zeke's a really good example.
Zeke too. Perfect.
Last year in fantasy, he was, or last couple of years in fantasy, if he didn't score a touchdown, he wasn't doing. Yeah,
it's not doing any favors. It seems like for running backs, it's not a gradual decline. It's just like, boom, they're getting replaced by the younger guy.
Yeah, it's like cut off on a season most of the time.
Yeah.
One season they're great. The next season, what happened to them?
And Zeke is a perfect example.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the Pollard show real quick.
Yeah.
Sony Michel was never that good, though.
DeMarco Murray.
Sony Michel wasn't.
Well, DeMarco Murray changed teams.
He went to the Titans.
Well, before that he went to Philly.
He did. That's right.
Yeah. The year after he led the league in rushing for Dallas.
Yes.
He fought real hard for that contract, and Dallas didn't want to give it to him.
Got paid in Philly, and then
got paid in Philly and disappeared, bro.
Yep. Tennessee got him on a discount. And then it was for a while it was DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry took his job. So
Yep.
And then
now Tajay Spears is going to take Derrick Henry's job. So
it's a dog-eat-dog world, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. running back.
Le'Veon Bell fucked himself because he sat out.
He held out for a whole year, bro.
Yep.
He's admitted, like, dude, that was a mistake.
Mm-hmm. He's the one out here telling these young kids don't do that.
Yeah.
You need all the playtime you can get because it don't last forever. He is a textbook example.
Well. Here's Brian.
Oh, Brian. Hang on. We're going to get to football. Just say hi to Let's Go, buddy. Yeah, we did talk about the Ravens and
their abysmal performance.
We can't figure out what happened, man. If you got any insight, bro, I know
that's your team.
Pickens.
Pick at the pickings all
Mhm.
day.
Hey, all I have to say to Brian is Addison season, baby.
That's right.
Addison season. It's
Oh,
crazy though.
came in correct in that English there.
I'll be right back.
So, yeah, let's look at the fantasy real quick. Do we want to, since we're talking about it, and the man in the lead in our league is here. Oof, crazy week,
Ugh.
crazy week in the THF Fantasy Football League. We got Q-Swin getting off the goose egg. And you're welcome, Q. He didn't even know he won. He didn't even know he won. He was like,
Sorry, fellas. The beard goes
Arrow
right through
Dart
me.
came into the Discord and congratulated me for taking one for the team. And Q said, I won?
As bad as our
damn.
matchup last year. Remember when you lost to me by like 0.8 points?
Yeah, it was 0.08 last
It's
year.
happened with me and Homely twice, where he beat me by less than a point.
I just hope that
That's
what happened to
crazy.
me last year doesn't happen again this year, because it was week 5. No, it was week 6 last year when Janu took me out by 0.08. And I was 4-1 and in second place, and I'd never won another game.
Yeah, just don't do that again like last year, because this is exactly what happened last year. You can't go on a losing
Yep.
spree after this, or it's finally a curse.
Week 5, when the bye weeks start, that's when all my waiver pickups started popping off and propelled me
Yeah.
from 12th to 3rd
Yeah,
place.
I started last year 0-4, and then I went 8-8, I think.
Hey, listen, I'm 1-4. I have a very young team, so I'm expecting a strong second half. I got Bijan, Jameer, Josh Downs.
I'm going against you this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna get crushed, but that's okay. You know,
Yeah, I'm gonna get crushed.
You do have a young team. You got a lot of young studs.
It's a process in these career dynasty leagues.
I tell you, and I hate to say this, but at the same time, I feel validated when I say it, because as a rule, I try really hard not to draft Cowboy players.
Oh, dude, I'm the
don't-
same way. I'm
I
the
don't
same way.
want
I
to.
avoid the Titans and I avoid the fucking Texans because I hate the Texans.
I try to avoid Dallas and Philly at all costs, and
Yeah, you
this
could probably
year,
just if
I got
you have
CeeDee
any
Lamb
Patriots
and
players
Dak.
in general, you can just drop them. At this point,
Same with the Titans, unless you have Tajay Spears.
yeah.
That's about it because he's getting the bulk of the carries. Fucking Traylon Burks, DeAndre Hopkins, Tannehill. Dude, Tannehill sucks, and they never pass the ball.
Yeah.
Altman's looking for a better second half when Jonathan Taylor finally gets up to speed and Barkley's healthy again. Yeah.
Because when we're late to the show, we just did like 15 straight minutes on.
Yeah,
on the
Q, you
Patriots,
gotta
buddy.
show up on time, buddy.
You guys gotta set your notifications better. We're on every week at the same time.
Catch it on Monday morning, right, Wakko?
I'll have it reposted in the morning.
Oh, the morning. All right, catch it tomorrow morning. Q.
Yeah, we'll have this on. If you're watching on YouTube, hello.
Hola,
Hello from the past.
konnichiwa.
Yeah.
Hello.
So the big blowout here this week, blowout of the week, Fiery Shits 184.12 versus the Jeffersons 82.37.
We can thank Jamar Chase for giving me 58.2 points.
102
Wow.
points.
102 points. That was the blowout of the week. And
That is insane.
since the Jeffersons were the lowest scoring team of the week, Mr. Monkey Man, no, that's what she said, had the pleasure of renaming him, and he is now hamstrung.
Can we talk about Mr. Monkey Man for a second with over 100 points on his bench and still being the highest
Jesus
scorer in the league?
Christ.
just crazy, absolute madness.
Yeah.
So it's like he used the wrong formula and still got the right answer.
That's 2 weeks in a row he's been the top scorer over 200 points. So if anybody wants fantasy advice, maybe we should bring him on as a guest because he's absolutely tearing it up. He's now second place in our division behind the Jeffersons, who are now a little bit in trouble because the Jefferson has got a hamstring.
Tua in the pink is going to be first place now.
5-0.
Yeah, Tua in the pink is the only undefeated team. I didn't realize we had another undefeated team. Man,
Yeah.
he's been quiet.
He's snuck up.
Yeah, that's a quiet 5-0.
Who is 2 in the pink, by the way?
That is Dirty Nickel in the Discord.
Dirty Nickel.
Oh, Dirty Nickel? Okay.
I don't know if he's watching or not, but he has an injured player on his starters right now. So I'm favored to win. As long as he doesn't forget.
Yeah, no, I think he's pretty on top of his lineup. He's a fantasy football pro. He's another one that plays multiple leagues every year, but yeah, I think he'll be all right. Let's see what else. What else sticks out there? Cup holder too. How is that guy in fourth place? What division is he in? He must be in 2 in the pinks division. Because he fourth place and he's 4-1.
No, that's fourth in the entire league. He's second in his division.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's fourth in the whole league. He must be in 2 in the pinks division.
Yeah. He's on the Avengers, and so is Tua.
Yeah, I should have brought the standings too. I'll start doing
sweet.
that.
I'm in the Galactic Empire. Nice.
Yeah. So not happy in fantasy. If you are Justin Jefferson owners out there, how bad are you freaking out? And which wide receiver would you rather have? Was it Osborne?
Yeah,
I'm taking
KJ
Addison
Osborne
or Addison.
Jordan Addison.
I know
Jordan
Osborne's
Addison, hands
gonna
down.
take that main receiver role, but Addison's already, in my opinion, a way more talented receiver. Osborne always drops wide open passes.
Rookie,
and he's a rookie, and they're probably going to put double coverage on him just like they do with Jefferson a lot of the time. So, I mean, I'm clearly thinking Addison's going to drop fantasy points way better than Osborne is.
If Addison can handle the double coverage? Has he got that level talent where he's going to put up where he's not just going to disappear?
I'm thinking they're going to double cover Osborne just because he's going to be technically the wide receiver 1, and he's going to fill that same receiver role that Jefferson's in. They're just fitting him in where Jefferson was at. But I don't know. We'll have to see it when it plays out.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one to watch because I've seen a couple people pick different. Some people say Osborne's the one you want. Some people say Addison. I don't know that minus Jefferson. I don't know that both of them are going to do well. I think it's either going to be one or the other, is my opinion.
I mean, even when Addison is wide receiver 3, he still was putting up yards. Like he had like a game with like 76 yards and a touchdown with like 2 receptions or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, does Addison usually play the slot?
I don't know. To be honest,
he's usually slot.
It's tough because at least from a fantasy standpoint, sometimes these 2 and 3 receivers, they do better because the number 1 on the field is getting double covered.
That's what I mean.
Without Jefferson on the field getting double covered,
it's possible
they're going to get
these
heavier
guys
coverage.
Disappear.
So the Minnesota,
they're going to be hurting. I think
Yeah.
they're going to be hurting.
And Minnesota's
they're
a very pass heavy offense.
Yeah, they're super pass heavy.
They don't really like using running backs, so it's going to be interesting to see if they kind of evolve in any way and try and try and switch to the run a little bit more, try to get the run going. But it's also another opportunity to bring the tight ends in. You know, TJ Hawkins is always a threat.
Yeah, Hawkinson's good. His target share is they're gonna lean on him heavily. I think he's definitely the man. I think he benefits the most from Jefferson being out.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are going to be fine. They have studs at wide receivers. Obviously, Jefferson's. I mean, he's really good, but I don't think they're going to fall off the rails. They're not an amazing team already, but they're super pass heavy for fantasy. I think we'll be fine with both those guys, to be honest. What's their matchup next week? Who are they going against?
They're playing in Chicago.
Yeah, see, like I think that game will be cake.
It'll definitely give them an opportunity to reset and figure things out.
The only reason I disagree with the cake statement there is just because it's a divisional game, and those, man, especially the NFC North, man, those divisional games are never easy, no matter what team. Even when Detroit sucked, you know, sometimes they were still giving Minnesota and Green Bay and Chicago hell. You know,
Same with
divisional
AFC
games,
North.
man.
Joe Burrow can't beat the fucking Browns.
That's true, and I can't figure that one out. But
it's crazy.
Just one of those things, man. I think that was the same with Mahomes. I think it was like the 3 times he's gone against Goff, he hasn't won.
Yeah, it's weird how sometimes those trends like start to be like a thing, right? Like, well, I mean, Dallas and San Francisco right now.
Speaking of Goff, I think Bolt mentioned it earlier. A good matchup to look a good game this week. Detroit and Tampa Bay, both of which have quarterbacks who are kind of written off, and they're both division leaders right now. That should be a fun game. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game.
Detroit has that easy. They'll have it.
If I had to bet, I would probably take Detroit, but I think we'll get to that in the next segment.
Oh well, I was gonna say here's our pick'em, our setup for this week. That's definitely going to be an interesting game too. That's unfortunately going to be an interesting game that nobody outside of those little media areas watch. I don't think that'll get a lot of television. Let's see what else we got out there.
The Washington Atlanta will probably be a close game.
Yeah, what happened to Washington this week?
Right? I have no idea.
I mean,
I'm as pro
DJ
Sam
Moore went
Howell
sicko mode. That's
yeah,
what
I
happened.
didn't understand that. I thought they were going to win by a
He went
landslide.
absolutely nutty.
We forgot about Thursday, but yeah, I mean that was
DJ Moore in one game had more offense than the Patriots have had the entire season.
Yeah, it was insane.
He had 3 touchdowns in one game, and like I said, the leading receiver, Hunter Henry for the Patriots, has 2 touchdowns the entire season. So, DJ Moore went crazy. That's what happened. That's why Washington lost, because DJ Moore is a force of nature apparently.
Washington went from almost upsetting the Eagles the week before to losing to Chicago. That was talk about a freaking turnaround of events.
I mean, the Dolphins went from winning by 50 points to losing by
almost 50
4 possessions. So
yeah,
it happens, up and down.
Miami's got Carolina this week. We see any problems there?
Nope. Nope. I start all of your Miami players.
Panthers the last team to not win a game.
Are they?
And I feel like they're gonna keep that trend going this week.
Yep, even the Bears finally got their 1 win.
I tell you what, though, what if they keep down that path, they're going to be that one team though that's scary to pick against, because you start building up that number on the other side of that goose egg, and you start playing with a fire you've never played with before.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible that they make a turnaround, because there have been some teams that started the season 0-4 or 0-5 and still make the playoffs. It's really hard to do. I don't
Yeah.
foresee Carolina doing it, but it is possible. Anything's possible. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, that rookie's got to figure some things out. Or not? He's not a rookie, right? That's his second year in the league. The quarterback.
Bryce Young?
This is his first year, isn't
No,
it?
he's
Yeah,
a rookie.
He was
He is a
number one
rookie.
pick. He was
That's
number
right.
one pick.
That's
'Cause
right.
They,
That's right.
they moved on from
CJ Stroud was number 2.
who they move on from?
Baker and Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold is the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. And Andy Dalton was
Yeah.
they thought Andy Dalton was going to start the season, but they ended up giving the reins over to the rookie. He's my quarterback in my other league. My other league where I have CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase.
Jeez.
Yeah. And
Was it a
All-
4-man league? Gosh.
no, it's a 16-team league. It's an auction draft though, and I spent all my money on those 3 guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, we only have 8 starters, I think. So, yeah, I only needed Jamar Chase this week. I beat the guy 135 to 55. And I got 65 out of Jamar Chase.
Yeah. He went sicko mode. I'll take it.
Yeah. I kind of dominated his ass.
The NFL is so random. It's just you can't predict it. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous. But that's what's fun about it.
Before this weekend, I told the commissioner of that league, I said, I have Jamar Chase. I ran through those 3 guys, and I said, I should be able to just dominate week to week, just if one of them does what they do, And God forbid, watch out the rest of their, if 2 of them go off. What if all 3 of them go off? And I'm like, I'm feeling really good about shit.
Yeah.
And then Justin Jefferson, he's on IR for 4.
Yeah, he
I'm
burned
like,
up the IR, that's for sure.
Come on.
Best player on injured reserve.
Jeez.
But I have him in one of my other leagues, which I'm actually doing okay in. I had first overall. I took him. But I have pretty good depth, so we'll see. But
So here's a good one. This makes this week really interesting for Minnesota versus Chicago. You're in Chicago. You don't have JJ, and Chicago's riding high off of a win as an underdog last week. Do they give Minnesota enough trouble to be a threat of winning that game?
I think it really depends on how their defense shows up, because they're going to have Justin Fields is going to have to keep up. Like, it's not going to be like the game with Washington. Like, he's going to have to keep up with the passing game, and he's going to have to play just as good as he did. Justin Fields, I'm not really sure if he's doing the same thing he did last year, because you remember last year with Justin Fields, he played terrible at the beginning of the year, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of the year, he starts coming back around again. So is that just his thing, or was that just a fluke game against a poor Washington game that was just trash?
I thought that was
leaning
Burrow's
towards a
thing.
fluke.
Burrow's
I'm
thing.
leaning,
Yeah,
I'm leaning
exactly.
towards a
Burrow's
fluke.
thing.
Yeah, that's his thing too, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess we're about to find out. I think that's a really good game to find out on, because I think that'll tell you if Chicago all of a sudden is going to have some people that are worth starting in fantasy.
So the Vikings are favored -2.5. So
That's pretty close.
it's still a close margin. I'm always looking at road dogs, and they're not the road dog. So
No.
I actually have Minnesota and Chicago as my parlay. So
all right, well, why don't we get into that?
All right.
Seeing how last week our parlay hit.
Oh wait.
We
$10
have,
bet got me $116.
so we are now 2-3 on the. So this is different lines, but they're slightly different. But DraftKings paid out a little more for some reason. So this was our primetime parlay from last week, and we hit it. We slammed it, nailed it. Thank God, Taylor Swift, rigged the game and got Travis Kelce back in for the second half.
You should have seen our
Did
private
she go down
chats.
and give him a
You
smooch
should
or
have
what?
seen
I
our
thought he
private
wasn't coming
chats.
back.
the second week in a row where the first three picks just absolutely, slam, and then my pick is the one left over.
Oh
And I
my
thought
gosh.
we'd be down another $10.
He went out with that injury. I was like, fuck.
I thought we were gone. I thought we were gonzo, bro. I thought it was over.
Dude,
I
me
thought it was
too.
done. I was like, we're gonna lose again on Ray's pick.
Yep.
So, damn it, Ray.
But when he came back in and I saw my sleeper notification go off, it's like it's better than Christmas, let me tell you. So our running total.
When you text the group and said we're back, baby, I was like,
Yep.
I immediately checked.
I turned the game on. I was like, he's back.
Yes, sir. Yes, he was.
CJ Stroud.
So on the season, we've spent $30 on 3 separate parlays because we let the season get started a bit before we started doing our parlays. So again, $30 so far, $10 increments per week. Our first week, we absolutely nailed a $222 win. Last week, unfortunately, thanks to me, we lost. Actually, thanks to the Tennessee Titans, blowing doors on Cincinnati. But this week,
that was the 1 week in Pick'ems where I picked against my team.
Yep.
Fuck,
But this week
piss
we
me
brought it
off
back.
every fucking week.
We brought
This
it back.
only the third week. I thought this
Only
was
the
the fourth.
third week. We started in we started in week 3
yeah.
because I forgot the
I
first 2
didn't think
weeks.
of it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and the first 2 weeks of the season are always kind of a mess, so I tend not to bet as much. But
Oh yeah,
but
definitely.
we are back up to 2-1, so we're over 500. All 3 of our bets hit. So on the season I've spent $30, and our total winnings right now are $338 and some change. So we are very much in the green. We're going to keep this luck going and hopefully hit again. So Dabs just dipped, but Wakko, what do you got?
Oh man.
What do you got for your parlay?
Oh jeez. Okay, so I was going back and forth on a couple things here. Nope. Wrong screen. Sorry. Let me go with Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown.
Okay, that's a given.
I don't know. It would be his 15th game in a row, so I'm nervous about it.
Don't be nervous. You always bet into a run until it doesn't hit anymore. Then you stop betting it. And for that, it's hit 3 weeks in a row for me. So I'll be betting that separately as a prop. I love to throw that in our parlay. I did that in our first week and it hit. So we'll keep that going. So first leg of the parlay, Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown. Dabs, what do you got?
I have Minnesota Chicago under 44.5.
All right, Minnesota Chicago under 44.5. Januvia, what you got?
Trying to decide between these last 2 people, but I think I'm going to go with Zay Flowers over on receiving yards.
What's the line right now?
Pretty sure it's 53.5. Let me go and check it just to be sure.
You said Minnesota and Chicago over 44.5?
58.5. It's 58.5 for mine, by the way.
Over 58.5. You taking?
Yep.
Okay. Has he gone? I have him in one of my leagues. I haven't even checked the stat line. Has he gone over that at all?
Yeah. And I mean, they're going against the Titans.
Wait, now who is going against? Oh, Ravens.
Yeah, that's a shot.
Yeah, dude, their pass defense sucks.
It's a shot at you, Dabs.
No, man, I am fully aware.
Yeah.
Dude.
Seven, I'm with you, man.
Dabs
pick makes me nervous.
Minnesota, Chicago under 44.5? No,
but I'm
listen.
not. No. I'm not talking you out of it. You've been perfect so far.
I like that pretty much, just because even if one team or the other has a good a good
Minnesota
day.
will have a good game, dude.
I don't
am not
see. I
on the
don't know.
Justin Fields train at
I don't
all.
know.
So.
I don't feel. I feel like the offense is gonna be a mess because I mean I'm sure they'll still put up points, but I don't see them putting up over 20 points. Then
No.
again, I also don't see Chicago putting up. It's going to be a lopsided game. I think it's going to be one team scores, one team doesn't. I don't foresee this being an offensive back and forth because the defenses are both at least manageable.
I could definitely change my mind, but I think I got Chicago in this game.
Oh, I don't give a fuck who wins the game. I just think score under 44.5 points.
No, and I think I've talked myself into the under on that one too.
I would not be surprised, though. I agree with you, Wacko, 100%. If Chicago,
I think Minnesota shits the bed. I think they
100%. I would not be surprised.
Yep.
Okay.
I would probably pick in the pick'ems Minnesota because I don't like Justin Fields or the Bears.
You don't pick 'ems with your emotions.
Yeah.
No, I'm picking the. It's not a primetime game, so Kirk Cousins is going to do all right.
All right.
That's a true statement too.
Very true. Yeah, we'll definitely see. That's a interesting pick. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. I'm going to take the over on 43.5.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think as long as Tampa shows up and puts up a couple touchdowns, I think Detroit will put up at least a couple touchdowns.
How's Mike Evans' health?
I think he's still questionable. Let me pull him up.
Because isn't Detroit missing their number one corner? If I remember correctly.
I could not confirm nor deny on that one.
CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's for the Lions, right?
This is why we need individual defensive players in fantasy.
Yeah, you're so right.
No, dude, in my big money league, it's an IDP league, and I have Micah Parsons and Minka Fitzpatrick.
Oof. Man, I'm jelly. I wanted to get it in, slide it in there.
Next year.
Yeah, for sure. Because I wanted to draft Micah Parsons too.
So dude, I love IDP leagues.
Yeah. So if we had done IDP, if I didn't get Micah Parsons, I was gonna or Trayvon Diggs, I was gonna take Matthew Judon. So I'm glad I didn't.
I take JJ Watt.
We would have seen. All right. So Mike Evans underwent an MRI, and it did not appear to have anything on it. So fingers crossed, he should be in on Sunday. So for those of you keeping track at home,
that's going to be a big deal because him and Baker are like two peas in a pod right now.
For sure. Oh yeah, he's definitely the best receiver on the team, and Chris Godwin is no joke. But
dude,
Mike Evans is a weapon.
I thought Godwin was going to surpass him by now. It never happened.
Baker Mayfield is this year's Geno Smith.
I could devote a whole episode to this. I'm not a Boltman level fan of the Buccaneers, but I did follow Brady to the Bucs, and they're my second favorite team. And I follow them pretty closely still. I've also always been a Baker fan. I think there was a match made in heaven. Baker getting put with competent coaching as well as having some weapons to throw to. He's definitely advanced quite a bit, and he's proven that he can still hang in this league. Given the right circumstances.
No, I get 100%.
He's the right kind of underdog. I silently root for Baker Mayfield.
Exactly right. He's the underdog guy.
Baker leading the Browns. Like again, I'm not a Browns fan, but Baker leading the Browns to causing Big Ben to sit and cry on the bench. One of my favorite moments of football history. Let me tell you.
Yeah, dude. Listen, I live in Northeast Ohio, so the Browns are like my second team, and so I followed Baker through his last year of college through the NFL. So. I'm a Baker fan. He brought us to the playoffs for the first time in like fucking 20 years. So
after an 0-16 season, right?
Yeah. So I'm a Baker fan. I always root for him. I'm glad
Yeah,
he's doing well.
I'm glad he's doing well, and I think it's going to be interesting if they can continue to have success in the South, keep that that division on lock, and who knows, maybe make you even catch some momentum in the playoffs. You never know.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened.
Till he
Yeah,
faces
no kidding.
Dallas, Philly, or San
Till
Francisco,
he faces
and then it
Philly,
doesn't matter.
But so yeah, for those of you keeping track at home, and our parlay odds will be posted on Thursday in the Discord. We have Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown. We have Zay Flowers over 58.5 receiving yards. We have the Minnesota Vikings Chicago Bears under 44.5. And we have the Detroit Lions Tampa Bay Buccaneers over 43.5. And it is probably wise if you have some extra cents lying around, throw in an individual prop for Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown. And if you're really feeling frisky, maybe even throw in a prop bet for Christian McCaffrey first touchdown scorer of the game, because it's happened to a couple of the last few games where he's the primary guy to get in. So even if you just bet them separately, or if you throw them in the parlay, you have a chance to win some money with that. From a betting standpoint, he's still going. He hasn't stopped yet. So
I told my wife.
We keep
told my
betting
wife
that
earlier
until it runs
today
out.
she has Purdy as her fantasy quarterback that she's putting in this week because she has been leaning on Dak to no avail. And I said the only drawback about Purdy is he's -1 on touchdowns at every game he starts because Christian McCaffrey's going to get his. So you know,
Brock Purdy is like the Tom Brady though. He's an okay fantasy guy, but he's a good football player.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been
Brady was never the
consistent.
best fantasy quarterback. He was actually better later in his year, later in the later years than he ever was throughout the bulk of his career as a fantasy quarterback.
One of his best fantasy years was the second years with the Bucks. Second year with the Bucks, and obviously they didn't make it through the playoffs, but even though he wasn't obviously the greatest of all time and one of the year in year out one of the best quarterbacks in the league fantasy wise.
Honestly, you got a lot of quarterbacks that lose a lot of games that are great fantasy quarterbacks.
Yep. Justin Fields, for example.
Lots of garbage time, trying to catch up the whole game. You guys remember Blake Bortles? Jacksonville. I mean, dude was like the highest scoring quarterback 1 year, and the next closest quarterback to him was like at least 100 points back.
He was one game away from the Super Bowl. One game.
Yeah.
I think it was against the Patriots he lost, if I remember correctly.
Crazy.
What year was this?
I don't remember. 4 or 5 years ago.
At least, yeah.
I don't remember.
Probably
the Jags just went on a fucking hot streak.
Made it all the way to the AFC and lost to the Patriots. That sounds familiar. It's likely.
Not recently, though.
Yeah. No, yeah, not in the last couple years. But
2018, yeah.
2000.
Okay, yeah.
I love the chat. I love how you guys fact check us. I actually really do.
That's why they're here.
The Pats versus Eagles year. Oh, okay, yeah. Where the Eagles won the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback.
Nick Foles.
Yep. That was a tough game to watch.
One of his many teams. Nick Foles was on a lot of teams, wasn't he? When he was a journeyman, wasn't he? Hell, he didn't even start the next year. He won a Super Bowl and didn't even start the next year.
I don't even think he ended the year with the
Carson Wentz.
Eagles, did he?
Huh?
Did he even end the next year with the Eagles?
No. I think he ended up getting traded that in the middle of the year or towards the beginning of the year.
Wasn't to the Chiefs or some shit like that?
I don't remember. And then Carson Wentz got hurt again. That guy couldn't stay healthy. Is he still in the league?
No.
He's
He's
not
a free
backup
agent.
anywhere or anything?
No, he was on the Commanders or the Washington football team.
Was that the last one, or was it Indy?
Nah, Washington.
Washington.
Oh,
and then they parted ways with him for Heineke for a while.
God, he was such a flash in the pan.
Hmm.
He was supposed to be so great. It's crazy how these guys.
Yeah, they come and go. But so Gabs, I know you bet the parlay. Did you make any other bets this last week?
No, just the
No.
parlay.
How about you, Janubila, any underdog action?
I haven't been betting much recently. I did a couple over and unders on the Raiders game and the Green Bay game. If he made that final pass, I would have won a couple hundred, but because of that pass, I didn't win anything.
So I had a really good betting weekend. Probably one of my best in the last couple seasons. Other than our parlay. So our parlay hit, obviously. That was 116. I placed a 4-leg on the San Francisco game, which unfortunately, because the Cowboys got their doors blown off, the starters didn't stay in the game long enough to hit all my overs. The only over I had that hit was the CMC touchdown and then the Tony Pollard over 3.5 receptions. Nothing else hit, so I missed out there. But I placed a last minute Monday Night Football parlay. I started with the Raiders winning outright, or I took the Raiders on the point spread because it was -2.5. That's kind of a weird spread, and it kind of jumped out at me. But I figured because they're at home, and it's within the 3.5 margin I normally like, so I took that. And then I took a Jacoby Myers and a Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown just because Devontae Adams hasn't been getting targets. And
I almost
then
did that Josh Jacobs one too. Would have been nice.
Guys, hang on. I just got to say real quick. The Rangers are going back to the ALCS. They just shut out Baltimore.
it looks like it's going to be a Texas series for the ALCS. Houston versus the Rangers. Which fuck the Astros. I don't know if I ever made that clear. But
I 100% concur. 1000% concur.
So then the last leg of that parlay I took last night was Luke Musgrave, the tight end, getting over 32.5 passing receiving yards. And it was getting kind of tight there at the end, no pun intended. But the Raiders are really bad against tight ends. They let up a lot of yards. So anything under 35, I was like, yeah, he's probably going to get that because realistically, you can get that in 2 or 3 receptions.
Yeah.
So he was down to like the last minute with 13 yards, and I'm like, man, he's not going to hit it. And then he grabbed a 20-yard reception and put me right over. So last minute $10 bet just to kind of make up for the money I lost betting on the San Fran game. It got me another $110. So I love those parlays. But if you think that's degenerate gambling, my buddy had a very similar parlay for Monday night. He took a 5-leg with the Myers and Jacobs anytime touchdown, the over on the points, and the Raiders winning outright. But he also threw in Devontae Adams over 6.5 receptions. And if he had hit that, $10 would have won him over 1,000 in one shot.
Yeah, that Devontae stuff killed a couple of my bets too.
And he was open all game, and for whatever reason, they just wouldn't throw to him. So I think he ended the night with only 3 or 4 receptions. But that's degenerate gambling right there. Taking a 5-leg to, you see a potential payout over $1,000, and you just start itching.
But, for over and unders this week, if any of y'all are doing them, I would highly recommend the Vikings and Chicago game. especially if you're doing like the widespread technique like I do, because that game, I don't know, there's going to be a lot of passing going on. More so, I would be betting more on the Viking side, but you gotta go both ways. I feel like that game's gonna be juicy.
So are you saying you don't think that we should have taken the under?
I just think it's gonna be. Just think it's gonna be a good game overall. Because when I bet, I like to bet on games that are kind of even both ways. And because like when you get a game like Chiefs versus Chicago, they're just gonna put in all their backups at the end. So when you're about to hit all your bets, they just go out and you lose them. Same thing with like betting on the 49ers sometime, which can be risky. So
I got you. Individual players, then, not necessarily the. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So any other bets to look out for during the week? I really like. I love these. I love these anytime touchdowns because it's like they're just some locks that you know are gonna hit. But I'm gonna lay off. The Swiftie in me really wants to take Travis Kelce anytime touchdown this week, but he has some up and down weeks. And I think given the potential injury and soreness from last week,
Yeah.
I think he's gonna have a down week this week, even though they are playing the Broncos. So it's a tough one. But I might throw a 5-piece on there at game time, but it's kind of a game time decision. I'm not including him in any parlays. But the other thing to watch out for, the Miami Dolphins, Carolina Panthers, the spread is currently 13.5 points. It's a pretty big margin.
That's huge.
It may not be a bad idea just to, if the line spreads anymore, if it goes up to maybe 14, maybe take the Panthers covering. I know it's crazy to say, but there's a strong possibility that the Dolphins kind of overlook this and take the foot off the gas a little bit. It's kind of a tough choice, but once again, I'm not responsible for any money you lose. But
they lose a Kane, but Mostert's no slouch.
right,
He's not a bad running back. I mean, if a Kane wasn't doing what he's doing, Mostert would be a good fantasy running back. So I don't think Miami loses much of a step here. I think they dominate.
They got too many weapons.
I get what you're saying though. It's a big spread. It's hard
that's a big spread, and like
it's hard not to pick against it.
Another pretty big spread. The Chiefs and the Broncos, 10.5 points. If it weren't the Broncos, I would say probably lay off of that one. But it's really not that far out for Mahomes to have a good game, and win by 2 touchdowns. So I don't know. You kind of pick your poison on that one. I don't recommend putting any. If anything, just bet money lines on those games. Take the Chiefs on the money line. Take the Dolphins on the money line. But don't go crazy with those point spreads. But another interesting thing to look. I know we're kind of heavy on the bets right now. Interesting thing to look at though. All but one game has a point spread over 40 points. The only game that has a total under 40 points is the Niners and the Browns. And I think that's a testament to the defenses. But that's a game I would probably consider taking the over on.
Yeah. I'm taking the over on that all day. In fact, if I'd have known it was such low, I would have put that in the parlay.
It could change, but by Thursday. But that's another one to keep an eye on. That could be another example of like what I was saying with the Miami game, where 49ers just had a very dominating win. They may kind of take their foot off the gas a little bit, but there's no doubt in my mind they could easily put up 30 points without even thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just how their defense is thumping right now. And the Browns, The
Browns
the
have a
thing,
good defense, but they don't have Dallas's defense. And you saw
Well-
what 49 the final that was going to be my final point, my extra point to finish off the day. Because when we were talking about the Cowboys and 49ers game, I wanted to say it and I didn't. Credit San Francisco because like they are really freaking good. I think they're
Yeah.
I think the 49ers are way up here. Everybody else is chasing them.
Right.
They have that much talent on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think the thing to look at with the Browns though is it's not necessarily, you're right, their defense probably isn't as good as Dallas. But the thing is their offense is non-existent right now. So I really don't foresee them putting up too many points, especially against the Niners. So there's a strong possibility, even if the Niners do put up 30 points, the Browns could be held to a field goal or one touchdown. So let's just say the Niners put up 30 points and they hold the Browns to one touchdown. That's 37 points total. The line's at 37.5. So if you, depending on your sports book, you may have the option to to add or subtract a point, but that's definitely another game to keep an eye on.
Who's Cleveland play this week?
The Niners.
49ers.
Oh yeah, and is what's Deshaun Watson's health look like?
I believe he's still out.
Yeah, because Dorian Thompson-Robinson he's good for a backup, but he's not the guy.
Yeah.
He's no Gardner Minshew
Right.
Minshew.
or Cooper Rush, if you will.
Coop.
So he's day
Cooper
to
Rush
day
is
with
an
a
awesome
he's
backup.
he's still day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
But-
early. I mean, it's only Tuesday, so we won't get any good.
You won't know until Thursday. Until
Right.
Yeah.
Thursday's practice report comes out.
Yeah, Thursday, maybe even Friday. Friday for sure is usually when you know on a Sunday game, unless they're going to be a game time decision. But quarterbacks, I mean, I don't think quarterbacks are too often game time decisions. You usually know or you don't.
Right.
But well, guys, I mean, we're a little over an hour and a half here. Anybody got any final points, any extra points to kick through?
Addison season.
Addison season. If
Addison.
anybody plays Tennessee's pass defense, you need to play them.
Yep.
Oh,
If
fuck.
any-
What do you
what'd you
want,
say?
Brian? I said if anybody has a wide receiver or an offense going against the Titans' pass defense,
Oh
play
yeah,
them
yeah.
because their pass defense is off. I think it might be the worst in the league. Hey, Brian.
I knew you were gonna do that shit. Brian talks the most. It's
Well, up
hilarious.
until this week, he was
Um,
untouched. So I mean, he kind of had ground to stand
One-
on. But I'll always be happy to knock one down a peg.
I know at the beginning of the podcast, I said, I was pretty sad about the Cowboys. And I mean, our next matchup isn't as good as 49ers, but if we go out there and whip the Chargers, I would feel better in my heart. It would be a little bit patched a little bit more. But if
Yeah.
we lose, that's just going to add to the wound. Because
I
I
mean-
don't think they're as good as the Niners, but they're good. They're solid.
They're
So,
good, but they also cannot finish games. So
They're a good enough team to where that would be a solid win
Yeah.
for the Cowboys. Whereas a lot of people are saying that we don't even have a solid win yet.
it's not the Giants.
So, I'd take that too, and I'm not. And just for the record, whenever they come knocking, just because we got blown our doors off by San Francisco, doesn't mean I'm scared of Philly. Everybody's like, oh, now it's just a race between San Francisco and Philly, and that's it. The Cowboys are done. No, they're not. No, they're not.
I agree with that.
There's my extra point.
All right.
Done.
So my extra point is watch out for deer when you're driving, because
It's rutting
Yeah.
season. Yep.
the rut has begun. I went head to head with a doe, and my RAV4 lost. So all those sports bet winnings that I've hit so far is going to my USA deductible. So keep your eyes up, kids.
Extra point number 2, first ALDS sweep in franchise history. Go Rangers. Okay, now I'm done.
All right.
Interesting. Go sports.
EA Sports.
Let's go. All right, gentlemen, it's been a great night. Good luck to all you fantasy nerds in week 6. We will see you same bat time, same bat channel next Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. 7Q. Bunch of late ladies. All right. We good?
We're good.
We're good.
See you guys next week.